Welcome to today's demo! Hello friends! My little, I always want to say hi so people can put a face to a voice. Okay, so today I want to make paper dragons. So this whole demo was actually inspired from this paper dragon. This is something that I made when I was doing my cardboard demo or a cardboard art challenge a couple months ago. But this is it's just fun and just made me really happy. And I wanted to kind of give you guys some ideas for making paper dragons, but also for putting dragons into like some of your own art or making things for other people. So I have kind of a dimensional idea as well as a card idea today to share with you. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. All of my little bits and pieces. All right. Yeah, isn't it fun? I just love that. So I wanted to kind of create a dimensional little mobile here. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just cut my little strips down to size here. We're going to do two 1.5 inch strips like this. And this is going to be the top of our little mobile. Now, when people think of mobiles, they usually think of little kids, but honestly, I love dangly things so much. They just make me really happy and bring me a lot of joy. So I thought that this would be kind of a fun way to be like, maybe you want dragons flying around in your room, or just in front of the window, or just want to give it as a little gift. So I have my little strips there, I have my little twine, and then I have my 1/16 inch paper punch. And because I want my little strips, when I put my twine through here, I need there to be a second layer. So I'm actually going to cut 2 more of these. We'll do 1.5, and this guy here. All right, so we have a total of 4 of those. Okay. So I'm going to, a moment here, we're going to poke a hole in the middle there, and it's a very, very tiny hole. It's just itty bitty little guy. 1, 2, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. 3 and 4. All right, so now with my twines here for making my little mobile, I need a total of 5 little bits. So I'm going to do them in different heights. Where are my scissors at? You see my black scissors? There. Okay. All right. So I want 2 of these to be the same, and then the other 2 to be the same width, or not the width, the length. There. 1, 2, and then these ones I want them to be a little bit longer. I'll do 2 of those, and then 1 in the middle will be a little bit shorter. Okay, so I'm going to get my double-sided tape here. This is my middle one. This is the outer edge. So I'm going to string this up.
That's the tough part.
I know, I was just thinking through that tiny little hole.
You need a needle.
Normally, I actually do have a little needle, but we'll see if I can. Hey, Jay. Do you know where my little the embroidery needle is?
I don't.
In the same drawer as the picks.
Okay.
Can you grab one for me? Thank you very much. Thank you. I got one, but I'm assuming I'm going to struggle. So I'm knotting it so then that way it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to cover this up on the top in just a second. So I have this one, and I want the one that's the same length to be on the opposite side. Yay! Thank you! That's exactly what I needed. Perfecto. Now if I can string that, now this to string this. I need a needle just to string the embroidery needle.
New challenge.
I know, right? A new challenge. There we are. Okay, perfect. All right, that worked out swimmingly. We'll do this guy there. Tie a knot here. 1, 2. All right, so now we have on either side. Again, that's the same length. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side with these 2 little guys. My cut end is probably going to string the easiest here. Oh, perfect. I'll tie a knot. And I'm actually doing kind of like a double knot here where I run that under, but then again, kind of like when you're sewing and you need to make a knot at the end. I'll just do a double. And I will just make the knot a little bit thicker because it's only a 16th inch hole.
No.
What was that?
Your hands work freely. You don't have arthritis, Ellie.
Oh no, I'm not looking forward to that. I wonder.
She did it so smoothly. You know?
I know. What is there something you can do to prevent arthritis? Maybe I should be working on
different
that.
genes.
Does your mother have arthritis?
No,
Yeah.
no, she does
Then
not.
you
No.
won't either.
Oh, good.
What about her dad?
No, my dad is both my parents are small business owners in their own fields. But my mom she does gardening and she has a landscape business. And then my dad has an aviation business. So small business runs in my family. And we're all busy all the time. So I don't think any of our bodies have time to get arthritis.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, you're so busy. Oh, I guess I'll pass on you. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring this to the middle here. I'm gonna go ahead and just tape. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna just put a little bit of tape down right on top of where these knots are. I just wanna hold those in place so they're not gonna go anywhere. And then I'm gonna just put this piece on top, and that's gonna lock in the knots, so then that way you can't see them, okay? But then they'll hang down nice and straight there.
Gives it more strength too.
Yeah, it does keep them more straight, yep. And then we're gonna do the same thing here. Once again, kind of lock that in. Okay, and this one here. All right. Now, for the middle here, I'm just gonna put some tape on the center here. This is just so then that way it doesn't move like this and close on itself. This will actually keep it so then all of the dragons are going to be separate. Now in the middle here is where I'm going to put my final little hole. And this is where this last little guy is going to go in.
Good scissors.
Oh, my normal scissors, I can't find them. I don't know where they went. They're around here somewhere. I think I feel like I used them yesterday in class.
You did?
Yep. I think that they're probably under something or I put them in the wrong drawer. It happens to me a lot. I'll go to look for something, I'm like, oh, there they are. Or we'll have used them in something weird. One time, I don't know if I've told you guys this story. So one time Taylor, my husband, he had band practice, and when he left, and I was working on something when he was there, when his band was there, and so when the band left, I couldn't find my good scissors. And I was like, where are they? I was looking everywhere, and I was just convinced that that someone had just taken them. I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm putting a little loop at the top of this. Anyways, I was convinced that someone had taken my scissors, and after Taylor's band, I was like, well, someone walked away with them, of course, because they're not there. And so it was like 2 months later, and I'm like, oh, can't find these. I'm like, oh, it's got to be a member of Taylor's band. I just can't believe who would walk away with scissors. And then 2 months later, something fell in the kitchen. It was like a bottle of apple cider vinegar. So I was cleaning and I look up and my scissors were on top of the fridge. I had obviously gone to get something and tucked them up there.
That's easy.
And I just I could not believe that. I was like,
Not thinking.
I cannot, and I'm short, so of course I'm not looking on top of the fridge. It was so funny. But you know, stuff gets misplaced all the time. Okay, so I need to get one more piece of twine here because I need my top a little bit to hold the little loop. But I want to hang one more dragon in place. So I'm gonna grab one more bit of twine. Hold on.
I was working with sticky paper and cutting out a die. And to clear away where my work was, I moved everything away, not realizing the sticky paper landed on the die. And I was looking for the die. I put the sticky paper away, and I couldn't believe in that instant the die disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, you don't concentrate on anything but that item now.
Yes.
So I just, come on, just walk out of the room and come back in and redo it. So I started playing around with things and went to get my paper again, pulled it out, and there on the back of the sticky paper
Oh
was the
my
die.
gosh, and there it was. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so what I've done here is I just extended that little piece. I put a knot at the top so that way it'll stop it. And then we're gonna hang our middle dragon on that middle piece there, okay? So I'm gonna show you how I did my dragons. I'm gonna tuck this to the side for just a moment and explain what I've done. So we have dragon paper. Where is it? Oh, right here. This guy. So what I've done here is I found some public domain dragons, and we have some printed dragon paper. So now these guys are 50 cents a piece. And they just have like dragon silhouettes, and you can fussy cut them if you wanted. I don't have any dragon die cuts right now, and that's what I had hoped to have for today, but we're gonna make do with what we have. So how I did this.
Are there dies though for dragons too?
They do make dragon die cuts. I just don't have any in stock right now. Yeah.
Oh.
So what you're gonna want to do is
And you made those that we can buy.
I made those so that you can buy them.
Your handwork is beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I know, I'm like, oh, I wish I had drawn all of these, but I did not draw these ones. However, I did fussy cut all of these.
No.
And although it took a little bit of time, it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you what I did here. So I have my piece of black paper underneath. I'm grabbing just a plain ballpoint pen, and then I'm actually tracing the dragon shape onto that paper. And so when you do that, then you're going to get just the indentation of the dragon into the paper, and any areas where you might have like some spikiness.
This has got a cushion too.
This has a bit of a cushion to it, yes, because if you did it on a normal countertop,
Right.
you're right, you would not get that indentation. Yes, absolutely. And so I'm just going to wrap this around here and just trace this. And it's also nice because then if you have any areas that have like a spikiness to them, like this backside here, you can then decide if you want to do spikes or if you want to just keep it smooth. And so you actually, in a way, it acts as a guide for then you kind of changing the design a little bit based off of how much fussy cutting you want to do and how easy you think that might be. So that's how I did that. So I traced it on there, and I know it's hard to see, but I have the indentation in here, and then you can take a pencil. Just so, because when I was doing this the first time, I realized I was like, oh, I can't really see exactly where I have done my indentation. And so you can take your pencil and you can line that up and trace what you've done. Another way to accomplish this task without having to catch the light and do that is you can also color graphite on the back side of your image before you trace it. And when you trace it, the graphite will transfer and then it'll be a little bit easier to see. So those are my tips for
Or
you.
what about
for being
that
able to
white
do it.
pencil that they said you could buy at the dressmakers?
Oh, marking pencil?
Yeah, to go over afterwards too.
Oh yeah, that might be a good idea.
You
Yeah.
can see actually.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea too. Yep. So anyways, I'm just gonna kind of go in here and just kind of see if I can catch the light here and find my image. And again, I'm gonna just kind of change this up a little bit based off of how much I actually want to cut out. So then we have our little dragon image there. You can actually see that on there. And then I just took my scissors and I just cut that out. So I'm gonna end up cutting this out here shortly. But because I didn't want you guys to just sit here watching me cut, I fussy cut all of these 5 from earlier. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this guy's just the side of the face, but I just really loved the movement of all of those dragons. I thought those were so much fun.
I can see flames coming out.
Oh my gosh, I know. Isn't that so cool?
And sparkles on their wings.
Yes.
Oh yes, oh that's
yes.
a great idea. Oh, with stickles.
Yeah.
Oh, I should
Yeah.
totally do that.
There you go.
Yeah, I love that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut out 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to use double-sided tape for what I'm doing here. But I'm going to take my double-sided tape. I'm going to stick it on here. And then for the weight for the mobile, I'm going to use pennies. And I know that that seems kind of weird, but it actually works really well. And then I put double-sided tape on top of that, and I'm going to put this here. Oh, I'm going to put my little string on.
We don't have pennies in Canada.
Oh, well, something that has
don't?
similar weight,
Nope, I got
perhaps.
rid of them.
Yep.
Use a washer.
A washer, that is a great idea. That's perfect. And then I'm going to put my circle on top here, and this is going to lock that in. It's going to cover up that little area where the penny is. So anyways, so then that way that little guy can hang, and he actually has a nice amount of weight to him. And I'm just going to remove my excess double-sided tape. And that was a trick that I learned when I was working at Stampadoodle, because I would make a lot of mobiles there, and I would really want them to have a little bit more weight to them. And so I learned, like, oh, there's a penny trick, works really great for that. So my little dragon
We
here.
did learn a lot of tricks over there.
Oh, I definitely did. It's helped me
They should have
to
written a book.
have my business today. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you
Well,
hear from them at all?
oh, all the time. Yeah, I chat with Wendy at least once a week. And Steve, because we just bought the stamp making business from them, we now have, I always have a lot of questions.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot to stick my little guy down here. So
They're
I'm
doing well, I guess, traveling.
Oh, they're traveling a little bit, mostly to spend time with their families that live in California. But they have a home in Newport, Oregon, and so that's where they've been spending most of their time. Yeah. And then Steve, he's kind of funny. I think he just really likes to work.
I was gonna say, how's he coping?
Yeah, he's doing good. He's, like I said, he's just, especially since he sold the business to us, the rest of it. I've been needing to call him a lot to ask him questions, and so then I'll be like, when we get off work here at 6, I usually try to be done for the day. I'm like, I'm not going to work at home. I'm just going to be done unless I have to. And so I'll get messages from Steve at like 10 o'clock at night, and he's like, oh, this thing that you need help with, I'm working on it right now, and here's all the information you need. And I'm thinking, go to sleep.
Yeah.
Why are you awake?
Yeah.
But I think he likes working
This is
with
it.
being helpful.
A purpose,
Yep. Yeah.
and it's
Absolutely.
important.
Yes, it
And
is.
especially with men, you need them to have a purpose. Hobbies.
Hobbies, yeah, things are good. But it creates meaning in life, you know. It's
Mine was
important to
a,
have.
city
So
policeman.
I'm choosing my largest dragon for the middle because I want all of the other dragons to be flying around my main dragon here. So now I'm just going to stick on my double-sided tape. Whoops. Stick that on there. Put some tape onto my penny here. We'll stick our, oh, keep doing that. My little twine's got to stick on there first. There we go. That goes on. And dot here. Okay. So now we have all of our flying dragons here. Ooh.
They're fighting.
They are fighting. They are fighting. Oh my gosh, I'm so pleased with that. And then we're going to do our middle one here. And the middle one we're going to do the final thing here.
You're right about putting flames on them.
Oh, I think that'll just be amazing. Yes, I love that. I'll have to draw some little flames and stick them on
And
there.
I bet you could use red feathers.
Oh,
There
I
you go.
love that idea with red feathers. Oh my gosh, that is so
Then it would be
clever.
movement.
Yeah, red and orange and yellow. Stick them all
Go
together.
plug your
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so much fun. But yeah, so then you have your little guys here. Yeah, it's pretty fun. So anyways, we're a little flying. I know you guys up there can't really see very well, but basically we have flying little dragons, and we'll do a little video later, or do a little photo later with this hanging up so everyone can kind of see. And then you'll see our dragons hanging up at the front as well. So there is idea number 1.
Dragon convention.
A little
Yes.
dragon convention, yes. Let me see if I can tuck this up here for the time being. Oh, come on. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. That's okay. Maybe a little bit of tape, perhaps. I want to just tuck it up here. Oh, there we go. No! That did not work. I had so many things.
Does you have a paper clip at the desk?
There we go. Okay. I might just end up running into that for the rest of my demo. But nope, there
No,
we
you
go.
won't.
Okay. No, I won't. I'll come back to this. All right.
Get a paper clip.
Oh, I probably could grab one of those. I think Jay's helping. Okay. All right. On to my next idea. So, the next one we're going to do is with this guy. All right.
Do you sell UFO too?
I do have some UFO in stock. I think it's 9 by 12 is what I have in stock at the
Yeah,
moment. It's up at the
okay.
front, right inside the front door.
Okay, and Star Dream paper?
Yes, I have tons of Star Dream
Great.
paper and Star Dream cardstock. All of that.
Great, that's what I want.
All of that fun stuff. Okay, so what we're gonna do for this guy is we're gonna do a fun shadow box. I've been making some fun shadow box cards recently, and I absolutely love doing it. So I'm like, oh, we'll just do this again. So I want my
Great.
shadow box to be 4 1/4 inches in height, and then we are gonna do one little piece on the inside. Just check to see if my dimensions are gonna be here before I cut that other piece. Okay. So we want 4, 5 1/2. Okay. So we're going to do 1 1/4 for the dimension side, and then we want this to be 4 inches. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 1.25 inches, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So this is our scoring. So we're going to make a shadow box card here. Okay, looks like this. Hey Jay, can you please bring me my large die cut binder? Thank you. Okay, so this is what the shadow box looks like when you put it together and when it's up and dimensional, and then when you fold it flat, it'll fit into a standard A2 card. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so
This is going to be on a video that we can
yes,
get
yes. All
online?
of my videos, after demos, I do a little video on our blog, and then we do a little write up about like what we talked about and some and the photos of the
measurements
ideas.
and such, measurements too?
Sometimes we show measurements too. When we have the scoreboard, I usually try to talk about where I'm putting it down.
Okay.
And then we'll usually have a photo that shows where
Great.
we've done the scoring and stuff too. Yep. Okay, so then on the inside here, we're going to do a little. This is going to be 4 inches wide. So we're going to cut a piece that's going to be 5 inches wide. wide. I'm going to do 1.5 inches in height. So 5 inches wide, 1.5 inches in height. And then I'm going to score it 1/2 inch on the left and right. And you fold one direction, you fold the other direction. So I've done a lot of shadow box cards, and they are so much fun to do. But the one I'm doing today is a little different, and I'm also using real fire. Though I had looked, I had planned to actually do, I'm looking for real, like, or just like battery operated tea light, but I did not find one. So, well, because I decided half an hour ago that I was going to do this. Do the light. Well, I should have had time to run to the dollar store, but no, I sent Jay over to hardware sales, and hardware sales only had the flame, had the real fire. So, but I'm still going to show you the technique because I'm really excited about it. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to cut a circle out of the front, but I also want to cut a circle out of the back. So I'm going to lay this on here, and I'm just going to line this up right in the middle of my paper here on one of the larger sections. So I'm just going to lay that on.
She works without washi.
I do work without washi tape. Yes, you can't handle it.
My die cut.
Yeah,
Move it if I
they're all over the place, huh?
It's a lot of fun.
She's got a different machine, see?
And then I'm going to do the same circle die cut in the second part of this as well. Normally when I do shadow boxes, I do not normally cut out the back, but for this technique I want to do today, I am going to.
Okay, my question though, Ellie, is how can you be sure that this is going to match up to the other? I have trouble
In
with
terms
that.
of that, I'm honestly just eyeballing it because I'm going to do a bunch of layering inside, and I'm going to be backing it with vellum. I'm not as worried about that.
Okay.
Though, if you really wanted to, what you could do on the
Exactly.
inside is use a ruler and draw a pencil line, and then line it up between the pencil lines. So you would do your pencil lines this direction, and then line it up left and right.
Okay.
So when I look at it this way and I fold this across, it actually lines up pretty good, even just looking in. Again, it doesn't have to be totally perfect because, again, of all the layering we're going to do inside. So this is the inside piece that we are actually going to be putting some of our layers on, so you get that dimension that we're going to be using. Okay. All right. Oh, I need my die cut machine again because we're going to cut out a couple more things. And those die cuts are here. So for this, I wanted to use the cloud die cut and the tree die cut for this next part here. I love the trees too. Okay, so I'm going to pick, let's see, different colors
Do you
here.
have this, Ellie?
What was that? The cloud die? Yeah, these guys, if you want either of those, I would tell them to 10% off today. Okay.
Clouds are always handy to have.
Yeah, the clouds are really nice. This is a beautiful cloud set here. This one comes from Poppy, and I like that it has multiple layers in it. So the die cuts kind of just look like this, but I'm just going to cut these out like so.
Okay.
Because I want my clouds to have lots of dimension to them, so I'm just going to pull these apart. Okay. I'm going to do this guy here, and we'll do this guy here. So I'm making lots of clouds today. So I want lots of dimension. There we go.
I hesitated making shadow boxes because it seemed to be so much work.
It can be, but the effect is so
Yeah.
amazing that it's, in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. And we have a number of ideas with shadow boxes up
Do
the
you?
front in the demo case. Yeah.
Take some pictures.
Love them.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
How do
do.
you have to hand them to them though. You can't mail them.
We mail them flat.
Yeah, you mail it flat. That's the benefit of working with a shadow box card is that it's totally flat, so then you can just pop it right into an envelope. Yeah, I know. It's
And is it an
amazing.
A2 size in the end?
Yes,
or do you
this
use a
card
regular?
will be an A2 size on the back. All right. And then this tree, this is a tree plate.
Shadow box is what, 2 or
I want to say it was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yep. I did a whole thing on shadow boxes just to kind of give you guys some ideas. Remember the fairy one with the little dangling little stars and the little mushroom?
It's in your case up here.
It is up front, yes.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Was that a class then?
No, it was a demo.
That's the demo.
Yeah, it was a little demo.
Go back and look it up on her.
Yeah, it's up on
video.
our blog, but we have a case up front, right inside the front door, that has all the samples from our past demos.
So to get onto your blog, do I have to join anything?
Nope. You just go to our website, artandhappiness.net. At the very top, there's a little tab that says blog, and you can just click on that, and then it'll take you right there. And then there's I do card making class, and the tutorials for card making classes are up there as well. So if you want to just get some card making ideas, you can always go over there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I try to do lots of stuff just to kind of get people inspired about creating.
Oh,
and
do
doing
we
favorite
need
stuff.
that?
Well, sometimes we need just a little bit of inspiration. Even me, I'm the same way. Sometimes I'm
You
like,
get stagnant.
you get stagnant. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely happens. Not on purpose, but you just realize like, oh wow, I've kind of stuck in a rut.
Well, some of my friends after COVID, they couldn't feel inspired to get into doing anything.
Yep.
Down a lot of
It did, yes.
energies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually.
enthusiasm wasn't there.
Yeah. I've actually had at least 3 customers who sold off their entire collection.
Oh.
And and they said, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I was like, well, that's fine. I never want to force anyone to create. And especially if their heart just isn't into it, then it's okay.
I find it works with using your brain to figure things out
It definitely
or
does.
redo
Problem
something.
solving, and then
Exactly.
you also get to share joy with other people.
Oh.
There's so much.
Yeah.
So much. But I think for many of the gals, especially the gals that have decided to get rid of their collection, they really liked the card making because of the social aspect of it.
Oh.
And when
It
COVID
was
hit,
gone.
they didn't have that, and so therefore the social aspect of encouraging and continuing, it just wasn't there.
It's too bad.
It's hard.
And they couldn't get it back.
We couldn't get it back. No, it's just hard. Okay, so now we're gonna do vellum. So I'm gonna cut my little vellum piece. It's gonna be 4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So that way it's gonna cover up that entire circle there.
What's the weight of your vellum there?
This is the heavyweight one. I believe this is the 29 pound. Or sorry, 32 pound. I think is what it is.
Okay. That would be the best.
I really do prefer this weight of vellum.
Yeah.
The other stuff, because you can heat emboss onto it. The really thin stuff, in my opinion, gets damaged really easily.
Yeah.
You certainly could, but it does.
Body to it.
I feel like it does get damaged kind of easily. Yep. Okay, so
Worth it.
I want to create kind of a background back here that has, because I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna actually use actual fire, but I wanted to put the light to pass through this kind of area that makes it look kind of like dragon's flames, and he's like in the clouds of the smoke from the flames, kind of a thing. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take, this is Distress ink, and I'm just putting Distress ink across my vellum here.
What color?
This is Wild Honey. It's one of my favorites. It's such a good one. It's so much fun. You kind of get that
Nice
glowing
color.
kind of look. Oh, it's a beautiful color. It's absolutely stunning.
Now, does that come in oxide too?
It does, but when it comes to vellum, I like to use the standard distress ink because it will dry on here
I was
eventually.
wondering
Where
about that.
oxide ink, if I'm going to use oxide ink on vellum, I always have to use a heat, heat
Right.
set it, or use clear embossing powder with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey Jay, can you bring me Festive Berries Distress ink? I think I have one. I think it should be open, but it's a red, or any red that you can find that's a distress ink. Okay, and then on the edge of my clouds here, I'm also going to add just a little bit of color. Again, kind of making it look like this the smoke left over from fire. Yay! Thank you.
Jay is so much.
I know. Jay is so wonderful. I know. I'm very, very lucky to have Jay here.
She knows where it is.
And then we're going to take the red ink on the bottom here, because I'm using my blending brushes, and it's because I want to create that kind of movement. So when you have, so it kind of has that ombre effect, so it kind of looks kind of fiery, which I think is just really, really cool. And then on the back side of the vellum, which is where the part that we're going to see, you'll see that really beautiful blend of colors. So again, I'm going to add just a touch of red onto each of these here, and make it look a little bit more dragony. So that way it's not just a sky cloud, it's going to be like smoke. Okay, so now let's put it all together. Oh, we're going to need a dragon too. So tuck all of my bits and pieces to the side for just a moment.
How do you remember all this?
Oh, I take little notes.
I mean, when I do something once, I have to refer to it again.
Oh
from
my
start to
gosh,
finish.
yes, I can depend on my memory, but sometimes if I have a lot going on, and since I started my business, I have a lot going on all the time, I have to take notes for myself so that way I can say, okay, this remember this technique? Like, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. And then once I remember the technique,
And
then
it was a fun technique, bud.
yeah, it can be a lot of fun. But yeah,
She's got a young brain too.
that is true. That is true. That does help. Okay, so this is the dragon face I want because I think it's just going to have the most impact on what I'm the effect I'm going for here. So once again, and I'm going to show you that technique where you actually color on the back side with your graphite.
Why not?
And so we're just going to color this on here. If I had a sharper pencil, I would get a bigger effect here, or more graphite would go down much easier, faster. Just coloring on the back of my image. I'm just going to get the majority of this down. Okay. I'm just going to line this up here, and then we're just going to trace this down. And you'll see on this image, especially if you look at the paper, you'll see that there's all these little intricate little areas where these curls and these twirls, and all these little areas where there's these spikes. And I'm just going to recommend that you don't do all those little details unless you really want to fussy cut those.
Exactly.
Because when I was doing this, I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to take the time to put in very specific tongue on the dragon. I'm like, I'm not gonna do anything with the tongue. And so that put at least a little bit of color down, not as much as before, but oh, a white crayon. That is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I bought it at Stampadoodle when they
Oh,
were talking about it.
interesting.
Yeah. They came with extra lead that you can put into it.
Oh yeah, that's smart. Actually, I think I know the exact product you're talking about. That was great. And did it also write on fabric?
Yes.
Yes, that is a.
But I liked it because it was used on the black paper or any other dark paper.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I wonder if these guys, they should have names.
Oh, they should have names.
I'm
Oh,
good at naming, but I love it whenever you see neat
Flame
names.
would be one.
yes. Oh, I love that.
He's so interesting.
Yes.
That's almost like a griffin.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. One of those is a little bit more griffiny rather than dragony, but I just love the movement of those guys.
Yeah. Very. He's looking for trouble.
I like the top one on the right
Yeah.
with the tail.
Yeah. Aren't those so fun? Yeah, I really loved these images. And I was
Look
like,
at the
oh,
little
we're gonna have
claws
some of
on
these
him,
guys
too.
today.
Something about them makes me think of my cats.
Oh. Yeah, right. They're just a little persnickety. Oh, I don't know about you, but
They're two different sets, eh?
oh, they're two different sets. Yep, two different dragons on there.
I want to buy one of each.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're great. Yep, they're just 50 cents. Okay, all right. So now let's put our card together. Okay, so on my back side here, so what we're gonna do here is for folding this in, we're just put double-sided tape on this far tab here. So we just roll on double-sided tape. We're gonna stick this on the back side here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So this is what's nice. So when you're doing this and you fold it flat, you can see, and then that way you know everything is going to stick right. But what's nice is that it can go totally flat, so then that way you could pop it into an envelope and mail it, which is great. So I'm gonna have my vellum back here. I'm just gonna tuck that in the back there. So I'm gonna put double-sided tape on the top and on the bottom, and that should be enough where you shouldn't be able to see the double-sided tape because it's going to be hidden within the shadow box. And I'm going to do a little bit of, I did the red towards the bottom here, and the yellow up towards the top. So again, you have that kind of look. Now, you don't necessarily need to have fire for this technique, but the fire is just so much fun. But when you're doing this, if you were going to work on this and do this later, you would want to have, you could put it like in front of a window instead of, or you could add in and include like a little battery operated tea light, and that would work. All right, because I want this to be 4 inches wide, I'm going to cut this as narrow as I can here, so it'll fit in my shadow box. There we are, perfect. And I'm going to tuck this in. And how this works is it goes on at the bottom where you put double-sided tape on each of the tabs. And whenever I do a shadow box, when I go to stick it, I always fold it flat to make sure that it will still fold flat. So this goes in on the left and right here. It just tucks right in, so then that sticks right in the middle.
What are the dimensions on that?
Yeah, so what I did was this 4 1/4 in height.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I scored it at 1 1/4.
I was looking at the little piece around the bottom.
Oh, this little piece along the bottom here, That was 5 inches wide, and it was scored 1/2 inch on the left and right. Did you get the dimensions for the large one? Okay, perfect.
So it's 4 1/4 high and 5,
And it will end up being about 5 1/4
5
wide. Yep. And so I'm sticking this on here again, folding that flat, so then that way where my tape sticks, I know that that the card will still fold flat. Okay. All right. So that's where we're at the moment. Okay. So it kind of looks like a little bit like a sunrise back there, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna stick on my trees here. I'm just gonna put double-sided tape just at the bottom here. Stick my little trees on. So we're gonna go all the way down to the bottom. This is kind of foresty looking already. And then we're gonna add in our smoke. And I'm going to bring this down to just 4 inches. There we go. And I want this to be back here to kind of cover up that kind of black line that we have there. So we're gonna kind of fill the space a little bit. So I'm gonna bring this up. And maybe hear that in place.
With all this work, you wouldn't give this just to anybody.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You want them to really love and enjoy that. That's absolutely
I
right.
have a stamp that says this better not go in the trash.
I love that. I love that. That's perfect. Because you're like, hey, I put a lot of work into that. You better love it. And what's nice is that most of the people that we give cards to, people they love them.
They hang on to them.
And they hang on to them, and they appreciate the time you've taken. And I love it when I was over at my friend's house. We're watching for Lizard. We're lizard sitting, if you can believe that exists. And while we were over there, I saw something that I had made for her, and she had it out so she could see it every day. And she's out of town, and I'm like, oh,
It touches you.
thank you. It's just
Yes.
me, and it was something I made for her over a year ago,
Yep.
and she just loved it, and it really touched my heart. It just made me so happy. Okay, so my last little guy in here, I'm going to add one more layer of dimension. I'm just going to do a little tab in here because I want this to actually blend in between my 2 clouds I already have. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape right there. Tuck that in right on the front. So if you look from the bottom here, you can see I'm just sticking that right in here. Whoops. Put that down just a little bit.
My sister has her bird accordion book.
Oh, she does. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, so then we're going to stick our dragon in here, and he's perfect. Yes. Oh, I'm so pleased with that. All right. So we'll
How
tuck.
did you decide which dragon would work best with that?
Well, because I wanted it to look like the fire was, like he was kind of like, I'm going to trim his edge off here. I wanted it to look like he was breathing fire or had just breathed fire, and so that's why I decided to kind of go with this guy.
Oh, yes.
So you could go with your other ones. Okay, so this is kind of the effect that we have kind of going on here. It's kind of hard to see. So now is the fire part.
Whoa.
Okay, so we're going to grab a little tea light here. We are going to light it on fire.
Better get a picture before it burns up.
I'm not going to burn it up. But I believe the effect should happen when you tuck the light right behind it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, is there effect? Does
Flicker.
it look cool?
A little flicker.
Ooh, like it kind of looks like it's on fire. Oh, so fun. I'll make sure that the people up here can also see. So without burning this, hopefully, if you guys see something catch on fire, please tell me.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, oh, the effect is so cool. Yeah, with that light behind there,
Would
it
you put
really.
a shiny eye on him?
Oh, you certainly could, or like or you could use stickles and put like some glitter right
Yeah,
along the edge of the cloud. But I just thought that effect was just really fun.
I love
So
it.
yeah, and I think that if you wanted to add like more red to the sky,
Yeah.
that might even add even more, kind of more of that kind of darker, almost kind of slightly maybe a little bit sinister kind of a look to it. I'm just gonna add a little bit
A
in
little
here.
stronger color.
Yeah, a little. Yes, sinister. That's right. That's right. Yes. Oh, yes.
That's better.
Oh,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
fun is that? Oh, so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love the effect of that. That just makes me really happy. You know what you could also do?
Samples?
What was that?
Nobody gets to take
No,
home samples?
not on demo day. But you know what we could do here? I'm going to use my 16th inch punch, and I'm actually going to poke an eye. So then the light will even pass through the eye, and I think that would look even cooler. Oh, I might have done his eye at the wrong
That
location.
looks really good
but
with the extra red.
It does. It made a
yeah,
difference.
Yeah, yeah, super fun. Oh, the light didn't quite, my light isn't quite passing right, but that's okay. Anyways, I'm very pleased with how that turned out. So, okay, now I'm gonna,
You've inspired me then, Ellie.
yay! I'm
I'll
happy
go
to hear
home
it.
and try to do some of those.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun. Shadow box cards are just great. But yeah, they
Yeah.
are
Oh,
really,
yeah,
really good
exactly.
fun. Okay, so for my last idea here, I'm gonna show you how I made and created that dimensional dragon. Okay, so, and if you guys want to look at that a little bit closer, you're welcome to do that. All right, so let me grab this.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And using the blending brushes on the vellum is really cool because I cannot tell you how many times people have come in and they're like, oh, do you have colored vellum? And I don't. But distress inks, any of the inks, not the oxides, the inks will dry on vellum. Use your blending brushes and you have time to blend that out into a perfect ombre effect. Or even just to color it. Like if you need yellow vellum, for example, you can color it and then you can do your die cutting or cutting from that. Okay, so
It took her about 20
finally,
minutes.
we are going to do this guy.
It took her about 20 minutes.
Takes me longer.
All right.
It'll be 2 days.
Oh boy. Okay.
Just over 20 to the
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually used to be a face painter. I was a face painter for many, many years. And what I learned is how to do tips and tricks to make the most beautiful effects ever from from paint. You just do tips and tricks using your brush shapes and doing this. And one of the things we used to paint was this dragon specifically. We used to paint this guy a lot. And so it's kind of locked into my brain. I just know how to do it. So what you're gonna wanna start with is you kind of create kind of like a movement kind of like this, like for his body and for his tail. Then kind of like a block shape a little bit for his mouth. Kind of a little loop for his top eye. Edge here. It almost looks a little bit like a serpent at this point. Add a little top for his little nose. I used to do little teeth along the side here. And then we're gonna just draw out his like little arm, however you want to do his little arm, and his legs here. Okay, so that's kind of the basic shapes. So I was doing it out with pencil, that way I have kind of at least a little bit of a guide for how I'm gonna lay this in. So I'm going to start out with using, these are Karen brush markers. They are really nice and saturated with color, but they also just are going to make a really nice effect for laying on the cardboard. Now you could do this on white paper, but I had already done this kind of cardboard kind of effects coloring anyway. So in order to kind of achieve similar coloring, I'm going to do it with this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start out, we're just going to kind of color in his chest, little chest area here. I'm going to kind of come around here. And right here, and all of this is going to be yellow, except for his little arm. And I'm going to come down here like so, and bring this around. And that's going to be his belly, his dragon belly. Then we're going to use, I'm going to actually use my ochre color next. I'm going to go in with his little face here, and do his little teeth. Jay, when you get a minute, can you bring me my white gel pen? Thank you. And we're going to do his top for where his eye will be. And we're going to add in our secondary color up here.
No, you meant Uniball.
Yes. What did I say?
Gel pen, just checking.
No, thank you very much. All right, and we're going to do his little arm here. Now, something that you'll probably notice is that I did not do black first, and that's because these pens are not waterproof. So if I had done black first, then the black marker would have bled every time I go over with the yellow, and it would have stained my yellow pens. So I'm actually adding in color first, which is also a technique that I learned in face painting. You lay down all the color, so then you're like, it looks okay. But then when you bring the black in, the black brings it to life, and it really makes it look absolutely stunning. Okay, so now I'm going to add in his spikes for his back here. All the way down. And then for his little end, we'll do this kind of a tail. All right. And his little spikes. And now I'm starting with markers, but you can add in paints, you can do acrylics. You can really build this up and really make it look really, really, really cool and really dimensional. now I'm just going to color this little guy, his little foot situation here. His little leg, his little arm here. Okay. All right, now I'm going to cut this guy out. Chest area here, arm, two fingers, I guess.
Do you have special scissors that you can use for real fine?
Yes, I
fussy
do.
cutting,
I am currently out, but they are coming back in. Those exact scissors are the best, and those are the scissors I have misplaced, but I was literally using them this morning. So I think they're just up front somewhere, and I just missed. My little tiny Fiskars ones, yes, they are amazing. But yes, those are the ones I generally use when I'm doing fussy cut work.
What about the sharpness of them, Allie? Do you need to sharpen them?
I haven't had any issues with needing to sharpen them. Traditionally, the ones that I use are actually supposed to be ribbon or fabric scissors, but they just work so well for fussy cutting that I use them all the time for that. And they're just absolutely.
Keep them away from your husband.
I have fabric scissors specifically that I don't even keep with the rest of my scissors. I keep them in my craft room for that exact reason, because Taylor knows where
Toenails, nose hair.
Yeah, because Taylor knows where to go find them.
Scissors that I've had for 40+ years.
Yep.
I cut my husband's hair and my son's hair.
Oh, really?
And I've never had to have them sharpened. And they always work, but you've got to hide them.
Yeah. Cutting out paper or.
Well, they just see them and grab them to
Yep.
do who knows what.
Exactly.
You gotta hide them.
Yep, that's so funny. So Taylor's a lefty, so he can't use my scissors.
My husband is too, but he'll make them work.
You're like, those are good scissors. Hello, what are you doing?
Well, when I have to go get something out of my craft room that he wants to borrow, he cannot look at where I go to get it.
Oh no, oh no. You're like, okay, listen.
Well, it's a second bedroom, but it turned into a craft room.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now here is I'm actually going, because I want to create kind of a dimensional arm, I'm tracing part of the arm of the dragon and part of the leg of the dragon. I need to find a different leg shape. This is the shape I'm going for here. So I need to grab this. There we go. With the claws. That's way more fun.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to cut out my, so that way I can add a little bit more dimension onto my dragon here, but also make it so it looks a little bit more creepy.
Is he going to be layered then?
He is going to be layered, yes. So not exactly like my other one, but we're going to have kind of a similar kind of a movement here. Oh yeah, please do. And we can take photos of anything. It's not a problem at all. And then his little arm here. Let's see here. We're going to do for his little, we're going to call them creepy little claws. His creepy little hands here. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Yep, smart.
Because I'll get home and forgot. Oh, how did she have that layered?
Yep. Okay. And then we're going to take those little claws here. And we're going to just color this whole thing red. Here. And here. And then we're going to do this guy here. I'm so glad that you guys have been able to come down because I know that for the Canadian
we've
border.
been so anxious.
I know so many
forever.
Canadians that have been having problems, and with the cost of trying to get over has been just so astronomical that a lot of people have said it's not worth it.
This is it.
Yeah.
Except for the gas.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Is it more expensive upwards?
It's $1.94 a liter.
Oh my gosh.
For the
That's
most part, yeah.
now that's cheaper than what we're currently dealing with? Or is that more expensive?
Well, you have to convert the liter into gallons, and
Right.
we're more expensive.
You are
Yes.
still more expensive.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, oh that's frustrating.
So we see a lot of Americans up there.
Uh-huh.
and
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Do they not realize what the gas?
Oh
is
my
gonna be?
gosh.
Mind you, your dollar is still stronger than the Canadian.
Right,
dollar,
right,
so.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's just ridiculous.
But we sat at the border yesterday, the crossing,
Uh-huh.
for an hour.
Oh yeah, we were
Yeah.
wondering what it was gonna be like, if it was gonna be really bad.
The pictures on the TV the day it opened. They
Oh,
look
it
really
was astronomical. We went into Bellis Fair Mall, and it still seems like it's kind of hurting.
Oh
It is,
yeah,
and
yep,
maybe
yep.
It being sold, that's what.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was reading some articles about that as well that have been talking about
what a
the changes.
shame.
Basically, they're kind of reconfiguring it because they're making it. They're basically trying to listen to the people going to the store and saying, okay, what are you guys really needing?
Yeah.
And so what they've actually have going on there is that I don't know if you saw, but there's actually a school that is opened up inside Bellis Fair, and the Bellingham Makerspace, they act as the science lab for the school 3 days a week. And then there's been like the Rock and Gem Club is now there, and they're doing amazing. So they're bringing in more like small
In the
town
mall, the Rock
into the mall. Yeah, rather
Not
than
yet, though.
what was that? Yeah, right now. Yeah, the
are
Bellingham
they? Oh, I didn't
Makerspace
see
moved in
that.
there about a year and a half ago.
Oh, I want to
Yeah,
see
and they're
that.
doing great there, and they have a lot more space, and their rent was much more cost efficient. So I think it really kind of depends on which kind of place
Right.
that it says because there's been a lot of turnover there with like a lot of like the department stores, and there's like a whole section of it there's nothing even
Christopher
there.
and Banks used to be in there, and
Yeah.
I understand they're gone.
Yep. Yeah, and I think COVID hurt a lot of it, but also
Just
the
shut
malls are
down.
kind of
People
on.
didn't go out and-
Yep,
Exactly,
yep.
and they're not coming back.
Yep.
I just don't want pennies to go out.
No.
No, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I've been there now a few times during COVID, and not because like we'll go to like Target or something like that, but they do have some new stuff moving in there that is non-traditional for a mall, because they're trying to bring in more small businesses
Yeah.
and saying, hey,
With
that
unique items that you don't need to go downtown
Yes,
for, that
yeah. And
are
there
going to
was-
bring people in.
I want to say there was like a gaming lounge moved in there as well, and they were talking about how they've actually got more foot traffic by moving to the mall, because where they were at, they just didn't have anyone walking by, but now they get new customers every day because people are just walking through the mall and they'll see them and they say, oh, this place is new and different,
Yeah.
and so they're actually able to bring in more stuff for their customers.
Well,
so.
ages ago, they used to have a theater there.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Which was kind of nice if you wanted to take an afternoon show in while you're in the
Yeah,
mall.
yeah, exactly. And for like a matinee or something. Yep.
When they built the big complex on Parkway, that's when it was there.
All right, so now we're doing the little dragon wings here. I know they kind of look like holly leaves, but we're going with it. It's kind of it's a fantasy kind of a dragon. Again, this is the kind of dragon that we face painted. So, okay. Of course, it's much faster when you're face painting it. All right, and now we're gonna do some fire. Best part. All right, so to draw my little fire, I'm just gonna kind of draw some little kind of fun flamey like things with like the licks, and then we're gonna do this. Last fire here. And we'll add in all of the layers here to get that effect. And the red. All right. Okay. Then we'll cut out our fire, and then we will start lining everything in black, and then you will see how fun. Okay. Now for my fire here, I'm actually going to cut it a little bit wider. That way I can really use my black and really add in some fun lining. All right. We're going to go ahead and glue everything on. Glue this guy back here. His little back wing. This guy will be the front wing. It's looking not so much like holly here. And the flame for his face. Oh, he needs a bottom jaw. What's really is he only has half a jaw. Okay, a little bit of red here. All right, so now we have our very basic color palette down here for our dragon. And now we're gonna get out our black lining. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do here is we're gonna just add a little nose here, kind of line this out. We're gonna do the little top of his mouth here and then outline each of his little teeth. There's a little jawline here. All right, so I don't know if you guys know this about stomachs for dragons, but they have kind of this kind of a movement where like all the scales are.
Yep.
So basically just doing a series of little L's is what that is to get that effect. And they get smaller and smaller as you head down towards the bottom of the tail and belly there. Then you put our line here and that will give it nice separation. Then we're going to outline each of our spikes on his back. Whoop. Some of those will be darker than others. A couple of weeks ago, actually I think it was last week, my video kept stopping partway through and then my light went out. Oh my gosh, it was just like the most chaotic day. I was like, okay, all right, every technical issue that could possibly happen is happening. That is just great. All right, so I'm going to add in his little veining of his wings here. All right, and now we'll do this guy here. What's nice about the brush pens like this is that you can get that fine line or you can get that thicker line, which is so, so nice. So then we're going to outline his little wing here and here. Oops. This guy here and here. Do some little texturing here on his back. His little arm. Leg here.
Does that work with alcohol inks, that pen that you're using?
So this ink, this pen here is not waterproof, which is this black one.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend, like if you wanted to write on top of alcohol inks, you could.
Yeah.
But it's not going to work for doing this and then doing alcohol inks on top of it.
No,
because this will move with.
But if I
with
wanted
water.
to create something over the alcohol ink, I can use that.
Yeah, you could go back in and you could do lining with this. Yeah.
Right,
You could also use a glaze pen. A glaze pen is going to have a little bit more of a movement of like kind of like a gel pen. And then
Does that work on alcohol ink?
It does, and it's totally waterproof when dry, which is really, really cool. Okay, all right, so I gave him kind of an angry eye there because he's a dragon. And then we're gonna add in some little dot groupings. And a dot grouping really helps kind of bring everything to life. Dot groupings are usually big dots and a couple little dots. In face painting, this was a technique we used a lot. And again, it kind of just makes it add like a little bit of texture, makes things look a little bit more complete, and just kind of finishes it off. It's areas where you might think like maybe warts are growing or maybe it's where a shadow might be. But again, it was a technique that we used a lot, and I've actually taken the dot grouping technique into a lot of my own personal art. All right, and there we have our dragon.
You put dragon?
No, what was that? Isn't he fun? I just love that. Anyway, so there you have it. So, and this guy, I did him out of cardboard. I did a backing arm on him too. I made it so you can actually stick on things. Yeah. So, this is not really a very good way to show this, but I have a little cardboard castle that he actually tucks onto, and he actually stays in place, which is really fun. So if I wanted to do that here, all I would have to do is do a secondary arm and a secondary leg to create kind of a similar effect. So there we have it. So that is today's demo.
Yeah, yeah.
So lots of fun things. Like I said, I have my little mobile here, but I will, I'm going to hang him up as soon as I'm done here today. So then that way we can all see. Oh my gosh, this got tangled really bad just by sitting there. Oh, come on, you got
much.
it. Huh? I might have made the lines a little bit too long.
They knot up.
Yes, they're fighting. My dragons are fighting. Anyways, but I just really, really love those little guys. So I thought
What do
those
you
were-
clean your mat with, Ellie? What's in the bottle?
What's in the bottle? Oh, this is the stamp cleaner. And this is
Oh, is that all?
diluted
Okay.
stamp cleaner, and it is the best cleaner ever. I just absolutely love that. So,
It's what Stamp-A-Doodle was
yes,
saying?
yes,
Okay,
exactly.
I have that then.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me for demo. See you guys later. Bye.
Thank you.